Brainstorming Solutions. So in this video, we are going to be looking at brainstorming, the rules for brainstorming, some basic brainstorming techniques. There's more than one. Concept generation dysfunctions, which is a crazy way to say sometimes with brainstorming, sometimes with getting concepts put together, there's problems. And we'll look at some common problems and then things to do when you get stuck, because sometimes the idea does not come as quickly or as easily as we would like. What is brainstorming? Brainstorming is a way to generate a large quantity of ideas to solve a problem. There are very different techniques. Several different techniques are used during brainstorming. It can be done individually or in groups. It can be structured. It can be free form. It can be timed. It can be untimed. The following slides are going to present a few techniques that you can try when you're brainstorming. The important part of this is that we want to generate a large quantity of ideas, and we collect ideas without seeing if they're feasible. We don't want to have any bad ideas. We don't want to judge any ideas. Like I just said, no criticism allowed. If you're working in a group and you're a little bit shy and you're a little bit timid, the way for you to never want to speak again is for you to give your idea and then have somebody go, "Oh, that's stupid." Right? Is that person going to say anything? No. What is the point of brainstorming? The point of brainstorming is to get as many ideas as possible. So if you shut people down, you're losing brainstorming ideas. So the rules are set up to make sure everybody's comfortable and that you generate a large number of ideas. So therefore, no criticisms is allowed. You're working for quantity. Just keep it, just keep piling it on. All right. Oh, look, that's the next one. Welcome piling on. Just the person who is writing and recording the ideas should just be writing like a crazy person. You're going to spit out ideas. Everybody can talk. Everybody can, talk over one another, because just getting those juices flowing, all right, and everybody talking is what makes brainstorming powerful. If only one or two people are talking because everybody else is afraid to, or one or two people won't stop talking long enough to let somebody else have their idea, then that's a problem. Let me say it for a third time, because some people don't get it on the first or second try. No criticism allowed. It is natural to want to automatically evaluate each idea, but right now the idea is to get as many as possible. Don't think if it's possible. Don't think if it's doable. Don't think if it's feasible. Just let it go out there. Let somebody record it, and later we're going to talk about them. You also need to make sure that all members contribute. If one or two people are the only two talking, then you're missing out on the point. High quality brainstorming, all right? People must experience brain drain before innovative, creative ideas can surface. The idea behind here, that may not make a whole lot of sense, but the idea is you spit out all the ones that you automatically think of, and then as you get tired and you're just starting to spout crazy things, that's when the quality ideas come to the surface. Those are the ideas that make somebody think, "Oh, what if we did that?" Right? Welcome piling on. Piling on is when a member's idea produces a similar idea or an enhanced idea. Ooh, what if we did this? Well, I don't know, but what if we did this? Well, what about, what if, it just goes on and on and on. Whoever's recording needs to capture all of these. What if we did this? Well, then we could do this. So capture all of those. It's called piling on. Allow free for all right? Outrageous. There's always that one joker who says something crazy. You never know if that's going to spark an idea in somebody else. So let that person be kind of outrageous and crazy. All right? They can be funny. They could be slightly off topic. You need to write them down. Because lots of times the most off the wall idea may be where your solution is pulled from. And also remember, the sky is the limit. There is no judgment. If you want to say hoverboard, knowing that there's no feasible way to make a hoverboard right now, you never know if somebody takes the idea, your joke of a hoverboard, and turns it into a solution to your problem. So there's different types of brainstorming. We have free-form brainstorming. Some examples are using Post-it notes, and everybody writes it down, and you put it on the wall, and that where all the ideas get recorded. You have free writing, where you sit together as a group, and everybody writes their ideas for 10 or 15 minutes. This is oftentimes the most effective form of brainstorming, where you initially write on your own without talking for a certain amount of time, and then you come together as a group to not judge, but to say, this is what I thought. These are the ideas I came up with. And then as the others go through it, if you have ideas, you add on to your list based on the other people's ideas. We have blurting out, where that's the one everybody associates with brainstorming. There's one person writing, typically on a board, and everybody just like calls out, bacon, hoverboards. What if we use nail clippers? That's the brainstorming that everybody knows. Typically, the blurting out is not as effective as some of the other types. The Post-it notes and the free writing seem to work better because it gives everybody an equal chance for a voice. When you use the blurting out method, the people that are more forceful in their personality usually wind up running over top of the quieter people. And your quiet people have just as many and just as good ideas as anyone else, and you don't want to exclude them. Brainstorming techniques, more forced association. This one's kind of fun because you get some you basically put together two seemingly unrelated items. The way I've seen this done is you list a column A, write those on the board. Then you have a column B, and you write those on the board, and you give them numbers, and then you pick at random, and you come up and you basically do that, and you write down what the combinations are, and then from there you can maybe generate some ideas, maybe get some ideas. An example of this is you have a list. On one side is a wine press, on the other side is a coin stamp, and you can combine the idea of a wine press and a coin stamp and put it together, and you get the movable type press from Johann Gutenberg. The brainstorming technique with quite possibly the coolest sounding name is Scamperer. Scamperer. The idea is to start with a current solution that somehow addresses the problem you're investigating, and then try to generate new and different ideas using each of the principles listed. So for example, if you're trying to design a single person motor vehicle to be used in like downtown Los Angeles, where there's tons and tons of cars on the road, and you want something small and nimble, you may start with a moped, and then you run it through the Scamperer technique. So you have a moped in your head, and then you're going to substitute something. So we're going to maybe substitute a large front wheel with a small wheel. So you switch something out. And then C, combine it with something else. So we have a moped, and we're going to combine it with a shopping cart. Okay, so you just go through that list, and then you get a different idea for each of the letters in Scamperer. Mind mapping, okay? It's basically a graphical representation to generate. I like it for visualization and organization. Those are the two main reasons that I like it, because you can kind of see how everything is hooked together. So you organize them in a branching fashion according to their relative importance. with the major ideas branching directly from the center main idea. So we have the main idea here, and then we have a major idea, and then that goes into even smaller and smaller ones. And you see all the connections between those different ideas. You can also add connections when they exist. So you can see, in this major idea, there's actually some relationship between it and this other major idea. And those are the areas where you can say, okay, they're combined, they're together, they have relationship. Maybe we can take the two of them and turn it into an idea. This slide is an example of a mind map. Uses the center topic of solve global warming. And then if you look out its main branches, they have food, they have less waste, create change, energy, and travel. So if we follow out the travel section, it has everything to do with about how to solve global warming as it relates to travel. So we have, what are the different ways people travel? Well, we fly, we have a car, we have public transportation, and we have walking and biking. And you can see that in terms of solving global warming, if more people rode the bus or walked or biked, we pretty much leave that alone, because that is generally considered to release less carbon into the atmosphere. We also have a car, which is a major source of pollution, and we have airplanes. They have listed don't fly, which in many practical ways is not an option under today's society as a way to solve global warming, much less if you say, okay, we're getting rid of cars. It's really kind of impractical to solve global warming. But once again, this is the brainstorming portion. We're not making judgment calls. We're not deciding if global warming exists or not. We are not determining if not flying and not using cars is an option. We are not being discriminatory. We are not being judgmental. We are simply getting the data down in a visual format. When you're brainstorming, you have to make sure that you always document what you're doing. You have to take good notes. If during brainstorming you're not taking notes, then you're doing it wrong. You must record every single idea. Now, you can do that in different ways. You can have a note taker. For the record, don't make the same person be the note taker every single time. That's not fair. That's not nice. Take photographs. You can take photographs. And then you can have everybody write and then compile the ideas, put the ideas all together at the end. So there's different ways to document, but you must document the brainstorming session. So, concept generation dysfunctions. Fancy words for problems. So, how can concept generation, how can brainstorming go wrong? A lot of times, if you have a poor design brief. So if you have a design brief that's not well written, that doesn't cover all the problem areas, that doesn't tell you what you must do and what you must not do, it's impossible to get a good solution if you have a poor design brief. So make sure your problem is defined properly. Another way that brainstorming can go wrong, that generating concept is going wrong, is to get one right answer in your mind, and then that's the one I'm doing regardless. This is the one I like. This is the one where students really get attached to an idea, and I don't care if there's other ideas. This one's mine. It's awesome. I'm not listening to anyone else. This is the one I'm doing. I don't care. I'm not listening. I have my fingers in my ears. All right, that's a problem. You need to keep your mind open. There is not ever only one right answer. There are many answers. Another thing that people do is they get hooked, they get drawn in, they get suckered by the first good solution that they come across. It's not a choice if there's only one. So you must have many solutions. All right. Other places where this goes wrong is when we only Listen to one or two team members. Now that can happen because one or two team members are loud. It also may happen because one or two team members think they're smarter than everybody else. They are wrong. Everybody on the team has equal opportunity and equally valid ideas. More problems. Feeling too anxious to finish. Some people are so used to making all the right decisions in their life, they're afraid to make a decision. They're afraid to choose an answer, a choice, a concept, because they might make the wrong one. And if I make the wrong one, I'm wrong. Guess what? In the engineering design process, you will make many, many, many wrong choices. So get used to it. Don't be worried. Select it. Move on. Also, becoming frustrated by the lack of success. All right, maybe this is the third time you've done the design process because you have some larger problem with your design. Maybe it's super hard. Maybe your design brief is wrong. But a lot of times, if this is the second or third time that you've tried to solve the problem and you can't, and this is the third time that you're doing the brainstorming, it becomes very frustrating. So you might want to use another technique. You might want to bounce back further up in the engineering design process decision tree and make sure that everything that comes before is proper. Do I have a good design brief? And then last, getting hooked on a solution that almost works. All right, we've went through. We had some problems, but if I could just get this one thing to work. When you're at this point with brainstorming, we're not brainstorming how to get this one thing to work. We're brainstorming all the different ways that we can solve the problem. Go back to, don't look at the solution. Go back to how to solve the problem. If you get stuck, all right, you've done it, you're getting a little frustrated, you're a little bit out of shape, you can mix it up. You can try different things. Combine promising partial solutions. Look to a couple of them. Are there any ideas that are almost there that you can put together to come up with a new idea? If you're getting stuck, one of the most important things you can do is try a different brainstorming technique. Maybe that one doesn't work very well for you. Maybe blurting out is all you've been doing because that's all you think brainstorming is. And now that you're a little frustrated, go ahead and try one of the other ones that are more effective. Try both individual and group brainstorming. Like I said before, the academic research shows that if you start with individual brainstorming and then come back together for group brainstorming, it is much more effective because those one or two people that love to listen to themselves talk don't have as much of a say. The other thing you can do when you get research is do some more research. A lot of times students don't do enough research. You want to make certain that you captured everything that other people have done in their similar designs. And if that doesn't give you enough ideas, maybe look in other areas that are completely unrelated to your product. If you're making hard hats, then maybe I need to look at football helmets. And I'm not going to go wear a football helmet on a construction site, but they both do protect my head, right? Brainstorming solutions. So please remember, brainstorming is not just one thing. It's a series of techniques, right? We have rules for brainstorming. The number one is do not judge me or anybody else. So don't figure out if it's a good idea or not. We have those different techniques. Try different ones. Remember that there are ways to get into trouble with brainstorming, and I also showed you some ways to get out of trouble. And then if you get stuck, all right, it's basically the easiest thing to do is mix it up and try something different. Thanks, guys.